Hello everyone. Today we're going to continue our discussion of some of the lesser known personality disorders, and I wanted to talk about histrionic personality disorder. Now, individuals with histrionic personality disorder love to be the center of attention. They'll seek it out. They'll draw attention to themselves. They'll do anything they can to be noticed. Now, often someone with this personality disorder, they'll have really theatrical and large emotions, and it's not just the negative emotions. So for example, someone with, say, borderline personality disorder may experience really big negative emotions but not big positive emotions, whereas someone with histrionic personality disorder is going to demonstrate hugely positive emotions, hugely negative emotions. You know, everything that they express is going to feel really, really big and really theatrical. I think in my experience with this personality disorder, often when you are spending time with them, you feel very much like you're watching a stage play. Everything feels very put on and very, I don't want to say shallow, but very performative. And so it can be a challenge to connect with people who are qualified for this diagnosis. Now, you're going to notice that someone with this personality disorder may use their style of dress. They may act quite seductive. They may be really loud. There's a lot of different methods that they may rely on to draw attention. They may be the ones who go sort of over and above what anybody else would do because, they have to have the most revealing outfit, or they have to have the loudest laugh in the room so everybody notices them. Now, if we're thinking about this personality disorder, sometimes it can be a little bit of a challenge to imagine what it may look like. And so I wanted to talk about a fictional character who might have qualified for this diagnosis, and that would be Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind. If anybody has seen that particular movie, she was very focused on being the center of everybody's attention. She chased down attention. She, made a dress out of the drapes because, she had to look in a way that commanded attention when she walked into a room, and she really struggled whenever anybody's attention was taken from her and put on someone else, and she would do whatever she had to do to get that attention back on her. Now, as you can see when you watch a movie like that, if you see her as an example, it's a very difficult disorder for people to live with because they're constantly pursuing the attention of those around them, and people's attention shifts and changes and waxes and wanes so much because our brains are designed to habituate to things, and so we get used to maybe this shocking thing. So like however many 100 years ago or so, it was popular to wear full body swimming costumes that covered all the way down to the ankles. And then, the girls would show up on the beach with their ankles uncovered, and that was just scandalous. But then after a while, people got used to it, so it wasn't really something that caught their attention. And so people who would be looking to catch attention, whether they have histrionic personality disorder or not, would be then pushing the envelope. So, okay, now we're going to above the knee, and then we're going to, the bathing suit, and then to the bikini, and they have to always push for that next thing because otherwise, people get used to it and you're not the focus anymore. And so you're going to see a lot of things that are going to seem extremely, quite extreme. And, they may belong to a group of people that perhaps the particular image that they portray is one that really stands out, but then they're also going to stand out from that group of people. So if you encounter anyone with histrionic personality disorder, the first thing to keep in mind is that that person is going to try and capture your attention. And so if you keep your focus on them, you know, maybe do one-on-one coffee together or something where they can be the center of all of your focus, then you're going to have a slightly smoother interaction, especially if you're having it, let's say, on a patio where there is no one else. You know, you might actually get a little bit of a smoother reaction or interaction with them. And don't be shocked when you see the person pushing the envelope, because that's part of how they try and get their emotional needs met. That's part of how they cope with the world. Part of how they feel noticed and seen and loved and important is by drawing attention. So it's not that, you know, they're trying to, you know, look like, you know, they're not doing it just because they want the shock value, because they just like to see people surprised. It's that they truly genuinely want to be seen, and the only way they feel seen is with all your attention. So hopefully that that helps. That's one of the, like I said, lesser known personality disorders in the list. And again, always keeping in mind that people will be able to find aspects of these different personality disorders in themselves, because all personality traits exist on a spectrum. And if it exists on a spectrum, there's a range that is healthy and normal, and then there's a point where it jumps above healthy and normal to, you know, maybe extra, and then past that it jumps into clinical. So we all have a desire to be noticed. We all have a desire to have attention. And, you know, sometimes we may dress in a way that we might want to get a little attention. But the reality is we're not in a clinical we're not in the clinical category, so we don't qualify for histrionic personality disorder diagnoses. We just qualify as being humans and being normal. So hopefully you found that interesting, and we will be continuing with the next one on our list next time. Bye!